All right, so get this. We're diving into the world of newborn babies.
Tiny humans
Yeah, exactly.
who manage to, like, completely rearrange their entire existence in a matter of hours.
It's incredible.
It's wild.
And speaking of wild, you've got a stack of notes here
Yeah.
on neonatal physiology and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, buckle up because we're about to break down this wild ride.
Yeah, it's really pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is.
A completely different environment, different food, different way of breathing.
Talk about adaptation.
Talk about adaptation.
Seriously, and these notes look like they're straight from a nursing program. So
Yeah.
someone is serious about understanding these little wonders.
Absolutely.
But before we get lost in the details, you know how a baby system goes from breathing fluid to breathing air?
Right.
Let's talk big picture for a second.
Absolutely. It's not just a blur of feedings and diaper changes.
Right.
Those first few hours are like a carefully choreographed
So,
physiological symphony
okay,
in 3 distinct
a
movements.
symphony.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. All right, set the stage for us. What's the opening act?
Okay, so picture this baby's born,
Okay.
and it's go time.
Okay.
Their heart rate explodes.
Oh my God.
We're talking up to 180 beats per minute,
Oh,
and they're moving around crying, totally alert.
wow.
This is the first period of reactivity.
180 BPM.
Yeah.
It's like they just sprinted out of the womb.
I know, it's crazy.
No wonder they need a little bit of a timeout after that.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happens is this supercharged state only lasts about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Then they transition into the period of decreased responsiveness. Think of it like the calm after the storm.
I like it.
They turn a healthy pink. Their breathing is still fast, but sounds good.
Okay.
And they generally chill out for a bit.
So they're like catching their breath literally after that grand entrance.
Exactly.
How long does this intermission last?
Usually about an hour or so.
Okay.
Then get ready for Act 3,
Oh,
the second period of
I
reactivity.
knew there had to be more drama.
This is where things get really interesting.
What kind of exciting developments are happening during this finale?
Well, for starters, this is prime time for that all-important first meconium poop.
Let's be real. You can't talk about newborns without mentioning that.
I know.
But seriously, what else is going on?
The second period of reactivity actually lasts several hours.
Right.
And it's when all those amazing physiological systems
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about really start kicking into gear.
Okay, get ready, everybody. Okay, so we've navigated the first act of our newborn symphony. But now,
Now the real work begins.
right,
Yeah.
all those tiny systems
That's true.
have to adapt to life outside the womb and fast.
Fast.
It's like a backstage pass to the most incredible transformation on Earth.
It really is, and it all happens so quickly. Let's start with that first crucial breath.
Okay, because up until then, they've been practicing their underwater breathing techniques, which, let's be honest, aren't super useful in the outside world.
Right.
So how does that switch get flipped from amniotic fluid to air?
Well, as soon as that umbilical cord is clamped, you've got this cascade of physiological changes that happen. Oxygen levels drop, carbon dioxide rises, and that sends a message straight to the baby's brain.
No more swimming.
Time to breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah.
So that first cry isn't just cute. It's a sign that their tiny respiratory system is officially online.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. The cardiovascular system has its own dramatic shift to make you see before birth, the placenta was doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, right.
But now
It's a solo job.
it's all on the heart.
Okay, so like going from career pilot to flying solo, no pressure or anything.
Right.
But it's not just about the heart working harder.
Right.
Is that there's something in these notes about blood cells.
You're right. It's not just about pumping blood. It's about what's in that. Babies are born with this high concentration of red blood cells
Okay.
because they need all the oxygen they can get to fuel their growth.
So it's like their body knows.
Oxygen is key.
Yes. Okay, can we talk about the brown fat for a second?
Yes.
Because this is like the baby version of a superhero suit, right?
Kind of. I mean, it's definitely a superpower.
Right.
Brown fat, it generates heat like crazy, way more efficiently than the regular fat we know and tolerate.
Right.
And it's strategically located between the shoulder blades around the neck and near vital organs.
Wait,
Yeah.
so it's like their body's priority heating system, keeping the most important stuff warm first? That's brilliant.
Exactly, it is.
And speaking of brilliant, how does the whole eating and digesting situation work? Because that seems like a big adjustment.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The gastrointestinal system has to go from absorbing nutrients through the placenta to breaking down and absorbing milk. It's a whole new world for their tiny tummies.
Yeah. Wow. And speaking of new worlds, what about their immune system? because they're entering a world full of germs. They've
Right.
got to be ready to fight them off.
Oh, absolutely. Their immune system gets a boost from mom, both before and during birth.
Okay.
But it's still developing, and learning to recognize and fight off all sorts of new threats.
That's incredible how much is happening all at once.
It really is. But we're not done yet. We still got to cover those fascinating built-in behaviors that babies are born with.
Okay, so we talked about the amazing symphony of physiological changes and all those systems adapting like it's nothing.
It's true.
But babies are more than just these tiny survival machines.
Right.
They come preloaded with some pretty fascinating behaviors, too.
Absolutely. And those behaviors, those reflexes they're born with, they're like clues, to how their brains are wired and how they're designed to interact with the world right from the start.
It's like they come with a starter kit
They
of
do.
essential moves.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that thing where you stroke a baby's cheek and they turn their head and start sucking?
Oh, the rooting reflex?
It's so strange.
It's hardwired into their system to help them find food.
That's like instinct.
Exactly. And as strange as some of those reflexes might seem, they're actually a good sign that their neurology is developing as it should.
So it's like a built-in system check.
It is.
If they do the weird head turn, we're good.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about their senses? How much of the world are they actually experiencing in those early days?
Well, their senses are definitely still developing, but they're taking it all in. Their hearing, for example, is remarkably sharp at birth. They can recognize their mother's voice from their time in the womb.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Isn't it amazing?
It makes you wonder if that's why they always seem to wake up the second you try to sneak out of the room.
Right.
Like they know.
We're tuned in.
Wow, and their sense of smell.
Yeah.
I mean, is that as good as their hearing?
Even more powerful, I'd say.
Right,
It,
yeah.
It's their primary way of navigating, towards their food source.
Which, if I remember correctly, smells pretty amazing to them.
It does.
Like way more amazing than it does to us.
Exactly. They're hardwired to find breast milk irresistible.
Oh, that makes sense.
But what's even more fascinating
What?
is that their taste preferences actually start developing in the womb.
No way.
Yes,
What?
based on the flavors in the amniotic fluid.
Wait, so you're telling me that my kids' love of broccoli, or maybe their hatred of spinach,
Right.
could be traced back to what I was eating while I was pregnant?
It's possible there's growing evidence that early exposure to flavors, even in the womb,
Wow.
can influence their preferences later on.
That's wild. So we're not just talking about, physical development here.
No.
We're talking about like the foundation of their little personalities.
Yeah.
Their likes, their dislikes, even before they're born.
It all starts so early.
It makes you realize how much is already happening in those first few months.
It really does. It's a constant dance between nature and nurture.
Yeah.
Those innate qualities they're born with, and then all the experiences that shape them along the way.
That's what makes this whole journey so incredible, isn't it?
It really is.
From that first breath to, those early interactions, those tiny humans are already on their way to becoming the unique individuals they're meant to be.
Absolutely.
It's mind-blowing.
It really highlights how much is going on in those first hours and days, a period of intense adaptation and the beginning of a lifetime of growth and development.
It's like we've only just scratched the surface of a whole new world.
We have.
So to everyone out there navigating the world of newborns, whether you're studying up, gearing up, or just plain curious, you got this. And remember, you've always got this deep dive to come back to whenever you need a refresher on the wonders of those tiny humans. Until next time.